You're listening to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Pharming Your Career podcast with host Dr. Aaron L. Albert, where we explore a variety of healthcare and pharmacy-related topics, including career development, healthcare IT, informatics, innovation, entrepreneurship, STEM, women's issues, and more. Pharming Your Career podcast is part of the Pharmacy Podcast Network, and Aaron has had the #1 most downloaded episodes of 2016 and 2017 of the entire Pharmacy Podcast Network. Now, here's your host, Dr. Aaron L. Albert.
Welcome to Pharming Your Career. I'm Aaron Albert. This week, we're starting a brand new mini-series here on Pharming Careers. I wanted to look closer at the work environment for pharmacists these days. Everywhere I turn, it seems like a lot of particularly non-traditional pharmacists have broken out of the four walls of that traditional community practice pharmacy and or hospital pharmacy. So I wanted to take a closer look at how we roll these days. So I'm calling this mini-series #HowWeRxRoll. So our first guest is really a great example of getting out of the four walls of the pharmacy. Ashley Clements Hayes is a pharmacist that runs her own consulting company called RX Ashley. We're going to have a nice chat with her about how she RX rolls. Does she have a traditional home office? What does that look like? What tools does she use to maximize her efficiency and her time as an entrepreneur? And also her new side gig in working with USC School of Pharmacy. So give a listen to this new mini-series. I'll be bringing you more non-traditional healthcare professionals and pharmacists to get out of the four walls. Not that there's anything wrong with the four walls, but just give you a panoply of different options when it comes to the work environment. Give a listen to my conversation with Ashley Clements Hayes. All right, we are here, Pharmacy Podcast listeners, with Ashley Clements Hayes of RX Ashley. Ashley, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Aaron. It's finally nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. It's funny that we're meeting on a podcast, but so you...
Very coincidental.
Yes, you are our kickoff for this brand new mini-series that I really wanted to focus on for several reasons, but it basically boils down to... I'm hashtagging it, how I RX roll.
Oh, I love it.
So we really want to talk with a variety of pharmacists that are kind of non-traditional. They're not in that four-wall box of a pharmacy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No. But we want to kind of study and look at how people work these days as professional pharmacists. So Ashley, we wanted to start with you, and I asked...
Thank you. I feel so honored.
Yes, the same question that I start with all of my guests is, how did you get to where you are today in your career?
Yeah, loaded question. Great question. So I've been in pharmacy my entire life. My grandfather was a pharmacist. My dad was a pharmacist. And here I am. Now I'm a pharmacist. So it was kind of not whether or not I wanted to go to pharmacy school. It was kind of what was I going to do in pharmacy school. That's kind of that's how it went down. I always knew going into school I wanted to do something, for lack of better terms, non-traditionally. I always knew I had a bigger vision for myself of what I wanted pharmacy to mean to me. So went to pharmacy school. I decided to do the health system administration residency. That kind of gave me a broader vision of operations in the hospital. So I was there I did a residency at University of Kentucky for 2 years, while I simultaneously got my master's in health administration and stayed on there for a while, did some operations work, some pharmacy operations basically. And then I transitioned into consulting for a large software company that implemented products in pharmacies. And from there, that's when I realized a lot of people were reaching out to me, asking me how I did what I was doing in a consulting role. And I found myself going to these conferences, going to conferences around the globe, to be honest, internationally and domestically, talking about some of the space I was living in. So I realized pharmacists needed help growing outside of the brick and mortar store. And that's when I decided to launch RX Ashley, and here we are today. RX Ashley focuses on 3 really different things: is business coaching, one-on-one career strategizing, career coaching, and then 3, interview prepping. So it's been super fun. And so obviously long-winded answer to where I am today. No direct path, very windy, but I love what I'm doing and it's so awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that, again, I think pharmacists are living different career lives. So I love that you've got a spirited kind of off the beaten path, so to speak. So,
yeah, a lot of students reach out to me and they're like, how did you get to where you're going? Or even pharmacists or everyone. Yeah. I was like, do you have a day? Do you have an hour? Mm-hmm. Let's have a drink.
Yeah. So let's break down how you work, because I'm very curious about your environment, your working environment. Let's start with where you're located and what it is that you do to, quote unquote, make money, for lack of a better term.
This is a great question. So I currently live in Orange County, California.
Okay.
I, for the last 10 years, have been on the go. We lived in New York. We lived back in LA. We lived back in Orange County. We lived in Kentucky for 5 years. We lived in Sacramento for a year, and then about 3 months ago, we moved back down to Orange County. So the location is one of the reasons why I needed to get non-traditional, because my husband's job kind of dictated where we were living for a long time.
Okay. So
that's kind of always been transient, for the lack of better terms. So where I work day to day now is different depending upon the day. One day it's in my office at my house. The next day it's in a co-space. The next day it's at my desk at USC. Some of the days I meet one-on-one clients, so it's in a coffee shop. And it looks different literally every single day. If I pull up my calendar, it's like I have to put things on my calendar, or else I will not know where to go.
Okay, let's back up. You said USC. What are you doing with USC?
Yeah, USC School of Pharmacy, the University of Southern California. I am their career advisor, career strategist for students and alumni. That just started about a couple weeks ago officially. Okay,
and so how does that fit into what you're doing now? Are you a 1099, I'm assuming, and do you do it a couple days a week, or?
I am part-time, so it's about 15, 20 hours a week right now. And then, it's a work in progress. So it's a little bit of remote work, a little bit of here work. It really just depends on when they need me, and kind of it's more or less building relationships with alumni and facilitating funnels with students to ultimately get them jobs.
Okay.
So it really depends again on the day, but yeah, 1099.
That's cool. So
it is. I love it. It's perfectly parallel to what I'm doing in my consulting business.
So let's talk about that with USC versus career coaching, kind of one-on-one. How and what types of technologies do you use to meet with your clients?
Great question. So I meet with all of my clients, with the rare exception meeting in person. I mean, really, really rare, like 1 out of 100 chance do we meet in person, are either over the phone or over Zoom or over Skype like we're doing today.
Okay. And some technical questions. So you said you live and die by your calendar. So what kind of mobile device are you using right now?
So I use an iPhone, and I have, tip number 1, I don't have email on my phone.
Oh.
I don't have it. After I left the health system, I decided that I was too glued to my phone, and every time I would get an email, I'd look at it, and it started to, I started to hate email. So I took it off my phone. I feel like I swear that was one of the pivotal moments of my, I love not getting email on my phones. I'm really, really quick to reply to email via my laptop, but it's not on me 24/7.
Okay. And your computer, what laptop? Are you a Mac or a PC person?
I am a Mac laptop person. I also have a PC, a Dell with double screens for my work at the college. But if you are with me, the odds are I have my computer on me.
Okay, so let's talk about your work style. If you could boil it down to one word, what would that be?
Ooh, good question. Efficient.
Okay.
I'm real efficient. I would say that's probably the biggest thing I learned in residency. When you have so much work to do, how do you prioritize and who deserves your attention at what specific time? That's one thing that I think I've navigated in full transparency quite well with having a family, having a big personal life and a big professional life. I think being really, really organized and efficient is something that I take really seriously.
So let's break that down a bit. Do you use any kind of tools other than
Okay, so
calendaring?
I'm so glad you asked that because I think I'm going to invest in HoneyBooks. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. So tell us
It's
about
a
it.
contracting system. So basically right now how I send clients their contract is, and the bill is basically by two different ways. One way goes to PayPal and the other one is a contract through an email. And it's a hassle to keep tabs on. And so I want to get to the point where I can streamline both my contracts and payment in just like one email. So I think HoneyBook is going to be the way. Or DocuSign for at least a digital footprint for a contract. I've been using just Word, and I'm just overwhelmed with the paper. Mm-hmm. I don't print anything out, but I have to store everything. And if I could just have one place to go to, I just posted this on a few different Facebook groups I'm in, and I got a ton of hits. So I think I'm leaning more towards HoneyBook, but I'm in the middle. If you know any, please recommend some to me.
Yeah, I still kick it old school with.
I know. I'm just trying to get away from that because honestly, I can't keep up with the volume these days.
Yeah. And
in order for me, again, to be efficient and not, I don't know, for lack of better terms, waste time.
Right.
I guess, at the end of the day, Erin, just to be totally transparent, every minute I'm working is a minute away from me is a minute away from my family and away from my daughter and away from my husband, my mom, my family. And my time is very, very precious to me. So any way I can maximize my time, I will fully invest in, like really, really invest in. And I found that to be very critical and to my success of the business too. So it helps.
Calendaring, do you use any tools there?
So I used Calendly in the beginning, but I don't like it. So I'm still adjusting to that.
Okay. What didn't you like about it?
I just used the online version. What is it called? Gmail, Google email. I just didn't like how it didn't integrate with I don't think, maybe, and I'm kind of technologically impaired too. So, I didn't like how I couldn't block off times that I wasn't available.
Okay.
I could only make times that I was available. Not the opposite.
Okay.
Maybe I'm missing something. I'm probably going to get an email from Calendly today. But, hey, you're misrepresenting us.
Well, hey, it's your opinion, so it's all good. So let's go back to the workday. And I'd like this to go two directions. One, I'd like you to describe the last day that you had that you just thought was amazing. Time was flying by. You felt like you were on your jam. And then secondly, I've got a second part to that question about asking you about the variety of what you do. And does that make you a fundamentally better, more efficient worker?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so first question is, when was I in my jam, in my element? Okay, great question. So this past couple days ago, I'll take you through my day. So 8 a.m. really, if you want to get really open, my daughter wakes up at an oddly crazy hour time. So I spend about 2 hours in the morning with my daughter. She goes to school, and then I spent a couple hours in the morning working with one-on-one clients. Then I met one-on-one with my business coach. And then the afternoon, I worked with students at USC. And then that night, I went out to dinner with my husband. It was a perfect day. I will feel like that was my jam. A couple hours in the morning with one-on-one clients, then one-on-one with my business coach. I think I got a little bit of a walk-in during lunch. Got some food. Then I went up to USC and I met with the students, and it was just totally in my element. The next day, I recorded podcasts in the morning, and then I met with my product developer we're launching some products on our website, like t-shirts and stuff like that, coffee cups. So we're designing those. And then in the afternoon, I am filming my online prep, my online interview prep course. So that takes a lot more time than I ever imagined it to, especially because it's video and it's my face. And I'm trying not to edit it. So that's taken a ton more time than I anticipated.
Okay.
And your last question was what?
So there's two schools of thought out there. One is the generalist, one is the specialist. And there's arguments about the people that do a lot of different things actually gain strengths potentially from doing that variety of stuff. Whereas there's another camp or a philosophical camp that believes that you should be focused on one thing and go 10,000 feet deep into it. So it sounds like you're a generalist. Do you feel like you get strength from the variety of things that you do?
It's funny you should say that, because I feel like what I practice and what I preach is a one size does not fit all approach. So I'm not saying to be a generalist or someone that does one specific niche. What I'm trying to do is elevate your strengths. And everything I'm doing right now is really parallel to my innate gifts. So yeah, my hands are in a few different buckets, but all the things I'm doing are pretty in sync with, empowering pharmacists and professionals to explore non-traditional roles. Everything I'm doing is parallel to that, but they're all different mechanisms and different ways I'm doing that. I'm writing 2 books. I have a blog. I have the podcast. I work one-on-one with clients. I interview prep people. I career coach people. I business coach people, but all of the themes around it is really focused on how to elevate your career. So what do you think about that?
I think that's fair. I think everybody has a different philosophy about that. So I definitely wanted to get your input on that. But I do want to go back.
A lot of other people are doing like one thing. And I think I have too much ADD to do one focused thing.
Okay, that's fair. Let's go back to the business coach thing. Talk to me how you went about hunting for your business coach, how you decided on that particular individual, and how you work with him or her.
Yeah, so it's a her. Her name's Danielle. I met her about over a year ago now. She has been a gift from God, and I refuse to give her name out to anyone because I don't want them to steal her away from me. Just kidding. But I found her through a friend. I mean, literally, it was a mom's group. I was living in Sacramento, and one of the girls that I was working out with, she put on TEDx events. Mm-hmm. And so I went out to lunch with her one day, and I was like, listen, I'm giving this huge presentation in a couple months, and I'm looking for someone to help me. Do you know anyone? She was like, oh yeah, there's a speaking coach. I was like, what the heck is a speaking coach? And so she connected me with Danielle, and from there, we've just really, really hit it off. We meet every week, and it's a wide variety of things that she supports me through, anywhere between my multiple speaking engagements that I'm doing every month to developing this online course to helping me stay on top of my brand. And I will say, and it is a very large expense. It's expensive. It's not cheap of an investment, but the ROI of it has been significant and way past what the cost is. So I tell Danielle I'll never leave her, but she's really been a blessing in my life and really supported me through a lot of this entrepreneurship and navigating the path, not on my own.
Cool. All right. So let's go back to a few more mechanicals about how you work. So what apps, gadgets, platforms can't you live without?
Well, these days I'm using Teachable.
Okay.
So that is the online course platform that I'm venturing into, which has been fantastic. I use Squarespace for my templated website, but that's going to be changing over in a couple months, probably to Wix, I think. I don't know. Our website designers haven't decided.
Okay.
My car. What else? Trying to think things for Madeline. The white noise machine at night, because she loves that, so she can sleep. And I think that's really it. I'm not a big techie person.
Okay.
But I don't know. What else? Is there something I'm missing? I guess HoneyBooks in the future, if that works out for me.
Yeah, we discussed that. Yeah, so you'll have to let us know how it goes.
I will.
Describe your desk and office setup, I guess both at USC and at home.
Okay, so that changes, like I said before, all the time. It really depends on what I'm doing. Now, when I'm recording a podcast, it's crazy because I have 2 dogs. So the baby's out of school, so it's good. I don't have to worry about her. But the 2 dogs they're so annoying. So when I'm recording a podcast, I need to take a picture. I think I have taken a picture a few times and posted it on my Instagram. I have to like double lock the bedroom or the office door and so they don't barge in or they can't hear me. So that's probably my trickiest maneuver right now. I used to share a co-space, like I mentioned before, in Sacramento, which was literally the most cool, amazing experience ever. And I'm so disappointed. I cannot find a good co-space where I live right now. Just it's too expensive. But up in Sacramento, it was so fun. I met so many creative people, so many entrepreneurs, so many different freelancers. And I was exposed to such a different environment outside of, our traditional pharmacy that I just never knew about before. People doing such cool work. And especially because it was Sacramento, so it was the state capital. So we had legislators come in, we had senators. It was the coolest thing ever. Lobbyists. So I was exposed to that whole different arena of office work in the shared co-space. And then now at the school, I have real crazy real estate, high office here. I don't know how I got so lucky to get this office, but pulled some strings and now I have an office. So it's pretty, a desk, a printer, my laptop, my PC, pretty normal office.
Okay. What is your best life or work shortcut?
Delegating.
All right. Tell me more.
Because
women struggle with this one.
Yeah, I don't. Because I know the things I'm not good at, and I am really quick to just say, I need help. And I will be the first to say, this is what I'm not good at, and I will hire someone to support me through it versus spending 16, 24 hours pulling my hair out doing something. And, I work hard, and that's why I work hard, so I can afford things like that. And it's not as expensive as people think it is, but delegating out any task. I mean, for me personally, it's like graphic design, it's SEO, managing some of my social media, just the little things, scheduling. I have an intern that schedules all my podcasts. He helps me with social media, so I don't have to wait. I don't have to spend time, not waste time, but spend time doing that. I can be working one-on-one clients instead of in the weeds of that kind of stuff. And it's a good opportunity for students to learn. It's a good opportunity for freelancers to get engaged in our community of pharmacy. So I feel like it's been a win-win. But yeah, I guess it's a loss because I'm spending money not on myself and more on the business. But I've found it to be actually the best way to invest in my business. Okay.
Can you take us through an unusual or maybe eccentric work process that you use regularly?
Give me an example. So I guess, I guess every Sunday or every Monday, depends on the week, I write a list of things I need to accomplish every single week. It's just one Word document, one Word document full of just tasks. And as I go through my week, I make sure I get it done. Most of the time it's pretty scheduled into my calendar, but the way I feel like I'm accomplishing things I could do small wins instead of not knowing when I accomplish things. I like to feel it. I like to get the cross off. I like that whole emotion behind crossing something off on a list. So that's probably, I don't know if that's eccentric or if that's just like every single week I make a to-do list, and it doesn't matter if it gets done on Monday or Friday. I want it to get done.
And go ahead.
No, even going to like the DMV is something that I can barely get to. So if I could get to the DMV, I still need to get to the DMV. I like crossing it off and it feels good. And I haven't gotten to the DMV, so I still feel like it's lingering. But work things, I mean, every single week I have so much to do that to keep the bigger vision in mind, I always break it down really, really small and then cross it off as it goes on. So I could feel accomplished by the end of the week.
Cool. So let me take that a step further. Mm-hmm. This question is not on the list, but how do you set goals and how often do you reset your goals and track them?
I love that you asked that question, but be totally vulnerable with you right now. I struggle celebrating wins.
Okay.
I'm always kind of the person that's on to the next. But that is something that I've worked on in my mastermind group. We have in my mastermind group, one of the girls is like a confidence coach, and she's big on that. So whenever I see her, whenever we talk once a month, she's always like, Ashley, check in. What have you done? What are the wins? And so we go over them. But I struggle with celebrating myself sometimes because I'm just always such a next person, next type of, okay, keep on going. There's not more necessarily, but just I always have so much ideas that I just want to keep having the ideas be explored.
Yeah, I completely understand that. But
it's hard for me.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of struggle with that, I think. Pharmacists are not exactly an underachieving lot. So I think that could be a barrier for some people.
Just the ambitious side of me. I need to learn how to do that better. So if anyone has any tricks, let me know.
All right, so let's flip it. Let's go to the dark side. How do you know, or what signs do you watch for when you get burned out?
Yeah, that's a great question. I will totally fully admit that right now, today, I'm feeling a little bit like I'm getting sick, and you can probably hear it in my voice. I think that when I do too much, when I'm away on the weekend traveling for business, and then when I jump into something during the week, when I take too much on, I could just physically feel it. So I have been way more conscious, with the exception of this week, the past couple months, especially since having the baby. Well, she's not a baby anymore. She's 2. So especially having the toddler, I guess. I have to be really, really conscious of how I spend my energy, I spend my time. So, and as with anyone, but I could just feel it physically when I'm not getting enough sleep. It starts to drag on me, and I start to just not feel good.
So flipping the question, how do you recharge then?
Yeah, I think that's I don't make a lot of plans on the weekends. I'm a big Pilates and big avid workout person. So I make sure to get that in a couple times a week. I schedule it into my calendar. So I schedule clients around that. I schedule my whole life around going to spin class or Pilates or yoga.
Okay.
It's really important to me. Really, really important. It centers me.
And what's your favorite side or passion project?
Oh my gosh, everything is just so good right now. Let's see. I don't really have a favorite. It's like choosing a favorite kid or choosing a favorite dog. I think right now my favorite thing has been launching my interview prep course.
Okay.
It's pushed me in ways that I've never imagined before. When you're a student or when you're a resident or when you're even a practitioner and you're looking at someone teaching, you're so quick to judge them, right? It's like, why are they saying it like that? But then when you flip and you're the person teaching and you're the person on the video, it's so much harder. So it's brought me so much humbleness, and to see myself on video, it's changed. But I love the satisfaction. I love the success that my clients and the students are getting. So that's been super fun. And I'm also writing a book with one of my friends, Joanna, and that's been fascinating. She's a pharmacist. We kind of have similar paths of health system pharmacy, kind of gone non-traditional. So that's been really fun.
That's a perfect segue to the next question. What books and podcasts are you listening to right now?
Okay, so book I am actually physically reading in my hands right now is Brené Brown, Dare to Lead. Mm-hmm. Best book. I'm obsessed with her. Everything Brené Brown does, I really admire her. She's great, and she's been a huge inspiration to me in my business. Podcast, I obviously have a podcast, so I enjoy listening to ours and yours in the Pharmacy Podcast Network. But so for business-wise, I listen to Jenna Kutcher, which is the Gold Digger. I'm not sure if you're familiar. She's more or less a millennial business coach, but she's photography. So some of the things I really identify with her. Rachel Hollis is another really, really inspirational person to me. So those are the two. And the NPR, How We Built This.
Mm-hmm.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That one's so cool. So I'm kind of a wide variety type of person.
Okay. And my last question for you with this particular series is, who else alive would you like to ask these questions to yourself?
Oh, man. Can we get Brené Brown?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Can you pull some strings, Erin? I mean, come on.
I'm cool. Good, but I don't know if I can get her right now. I love her Dare to Lead book club on LinkedIn, by the way, too. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. She's doing video clips of different chapters, and it's amazing.
Man, I need to get on that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think I really admire her, and she's married to a physician. I'm married to a physician, and I just have felt really connected with a lot of the things that she's done through her non-traditional work as a social worker. So, I don't know, I have a bunch of other girl crushes too.
So, Ashley, where can people find you and connect with you online, or in the best way for you?
Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. My biggest thing is probably LinkedIn or my website. So website is www.rxashley.com. And then I'm pretty big on Instagram too. I love Instagram. It's rx.ashley, ASHLEE, or LinkedIn. Those are my three big channels right now.
Well, with that, Ashley Clements Hayes, thanks for being our very first.
Yeah, it feels good to be the inaugural. Love it.
I'm really looking forward to this series and hearing how pharmacists are really rolling these days. I think we've broken out of the four walls of the pharmacy, and for that, I am standing over here with a champagne glass in hand and applauding with the other two hands that I don't have. So
yeah, I think, and you've been a fundamental person with that. So thanks for the work that you're doing, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity.
Take care. Thanks for listening to another episode of Pharming Your Career. I'm Erin Albert. By the way, pharmacy students, we are shopping for the few, the proud, the future APPE P4 rotation students for us over at ASCP. You can head on over to ascp.com/APPE and get our information on our new rotation as well as the application for it. The application will remain open for the 2019-2020 academic year until the end of 2018, December 31st. And yes, I will be one of your preceptors. So with that, thanks for listening to another edition, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Pharming Your Career podcast, part of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. If you have ideas or comments for Erin, be sure to contact her through Twitter. Follow her at Erin L. Albert. And remember to keep your career growing.